Central Michigan University in Mount Pleasant is confident that its graduates will find a job or get into graduate school. So confident, in fact, they're offering to pay eligible grads who don't. Joining us live now to tell us more about the launch of the Central Career Guarantee is the Vice President of Student Recruitment and Retention, Jennifer DeHamers. Jennifer, thanks so much for joining us tonight. $2,000, that's what we're talking about here. How does this program work? It's available to current students. You're the first university, the Public University of Michigan, to offer something like this. Talk about it.
This opportunity. So at Central Michigan University, we've got a really good track record of helping students find employment or get into graduate school. But students tell us that 95% of them have jobs when they graduate or 6 months after they graduate. There are some students, though, that, of course, aren't in that position. So what we've done is created a program that we're calling the Central Career Guarantee that is really a roadmap of a set of activities that a student can partake of during their first through fourth years of undergraduate study. I'll start with that because freshmen would normally have a 4-year plan. And those activities are meant to strengthen their academic preparation, their sort of holistic development as a student, and then also do a lot of career development with them. Many students wait until right before they graduate to start working with our Career Development Center in order to find employment, and we want to really encourage that behavior sooner. So we believe, and we know based on what students do and research, that students who really take advantage of these kinds of services that we already offer on campus are most likely to be able to have that employment or get into grad school within 6 months of graduation. So what we're really trying to do is encourage students to behave in ways that we know helps to make them successful. Yeah. And if by chance they are not successful in getting that job or grad school in 6 months, then we will pay them $2,000 to help continue their search, or perhaps start repaying loan payments if they've got that.
And Jennifer, some question the value of a 4-year degree these days, higher education under scrutiny. Is this a direct challenge to that sentiment?
Well, I think it certainly is a challenge in the sense that education remains a good return on investment, and people that have an undergraduate degree still to this day are projected to earn $1.2 million more over the course of their lifetime, their work lifetime, than somebody who doesn't. So bachelor's degrees are still required for many jobs, and while it's not for everybody, we do know that students who are pursuing that, who want a career that does require a degree, that there are certain things that they can do as an undergrad that will make them more successful. And we really want to put more emphasis on that with our students.
Yeah, and Jennifer, last question here as we wind up. I know that you mentioned about the obligations that students are obliged to partake in career coaching, meetings, academic advisors, and whatnot. Is this a way to ensure that this is going to be having a positive outcome for them?
Yes, exactly. We're going to ask the students to opt into the program, so it's really up to them if they want to participate and get the guarantee at the end. But by opting in, then they're agreeing to do a set of things over the course of their time here in order to make them more employable, easier to, I shouldn't say easier, but also grad school. And I do want to make the point that it's not just for freshmen. We will have a program for transfer students and for our current students, as long as they have at least 60 credit hours yet to earn, meaning they're going to be with us long enough for us to be able to make these services really available to them.
Absolutely. It's called the Central Career Guarantee. Jennifer DeHamers with Central Michigan, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you for having me.